Welcome into another victory edition of Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura alongside Browns legend Joe Thomas, and Joe 2-1. Feels so good for the Browns, and we're going to get everything you need to look back, but also to look ahead to Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys. Head coach Kevin Stefanski will be joining us. Andrew Gribble sits down with Nick Chubb, who is on a tear to start the 2020 season, not to mention Myles Garrett mic'd up, and we'll go in that film room, Joe. But boy, doesn't it feel good to have the Browns sitting at 2-1, 2-0 the last 2 weeks, both at home in front of the fans at FirstEnergy.
Yeah, it always feels good to win at home, and to be sitting here after 3 weeks with a winning record really feels like this team is headed in the right direction. And I think they're building that confidence that you need if you want to make a run in the middle portion of this season.
And the person leading that direction joins us now as Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski joins the show in last week's game review presented by Serpentini Chevrolet. Coach, congratulations on consecutive wins. You sit here at 2-1. What stood out to you about your team once you went through the tape of that 14-point win against the Washington football team?
Yeah, I thought it was a resilient outing for our guys. We went down early in the game, went down late in the game, and the guys responded, and that's kind of the nature of the beast of this thing. You're going to be down. The chips aren't going to be falling your way, and then you got to find a way. And I was proud of our guys and how we did that.
Coach, quarterback Baker Mayfield has improved his rating each week this season. It looks like he's playing better. How has his growth and development in this new offense been from your perspective?
Yeah, Joe, I think with any young player, you're learning a new system. Without the offseason, it's going to be a little bit of a process. So training camp, tried to get better each week. I thought he did. So far this season, I think he's playing better each week. That's kind of the goal throughout the whole season. So he's doing some nice things. Like always, there's always stuff that he wants to improve. We want him to improve, and he's really embracing that. I think Baker understands that this is a long season. We're trying to just stack good games on top of each other.
Coach, it's always fun to talk about the offense, but let's give a little attention to the defense. 5 takeaways. You say, I want guys who are ball-seeking, ball-searching. 5 takeaways in this game. What stood out to you from what your defense accomplished in this win?
Yeah, they did a great job. You know, we emphasize it, that we drill it, the guys, we talk about it, and then to see them putting the techniques into practice. Money Mitch there at the end of the half. I know that didn't turn into points because the half was over, but that was a great job of punching that ball out. That's a famous move by Charles Peanut Tillman of the Bears. Kevin Johnson got one out late in the game that we didn't recover, but that's you're seeing the techniques. Obviously, Myles in the strip sack. So it's part of who we are. It's part of our DNA, and it's great to see it going from the practice field to the game field.
Offensive line question. As always, I got to get my standard offensive line question in every week, Coach. It looks like they had another great week last week against the Washington football team. What specifically stood out for you in the run game this past week, and how do you continue that this season?
Our guys were extremely physical, Joe, and that's kind of who we are up front. All 5 of those guys, the tight ends, the fullback, even the receivers, we're got that mindset that we're working, we're getting guys on the ground, and it really doesn't matter schematically what the run type is. Our mentality is always to move people and get them on the ground. So I think that's what stood out to me, and it's something that really we're counting on this week and the weeks to come.
Coach, as always on Browns Live, we like to hear from our fans, and this question comes to us on Reddit from Matt Scoot, and he says, newly acquired guys, MJ Stewart, Ronnie Harrison, we saw them get some opportunities in this game, not to mention returning players like Mack Wilson and Kevin Johnson. Are you expecting their roles to expand going forward based on what you've seen thus far?
Yeah, I am, Nathan, and I think it's something with guys coming off of injury, we got to be mindful of how we get them back acclimated. So I do see those guys. I see their rep counts increasing. And you mentioned MJ and Ronnie Harrison. I like having the versatile football players on our team, guys that can play multiple positions, and we kind of wave them there on the defense so that multiple guys are getting opportunities.
With guys coming back from injury in the secondary and not exactly having a lot of time together, how do you accelerate that timetable and get them comfortable with each other so that they don't have any communication errors in that secondary that lead to bigger plays against a really difficult team like the Dallas Cowboys who love to throw the football down the field?
A lot of meetings, Joe, and a lot of walkthrough, and then walkthroughs before the walkthrough, and then walkthroughs after the walkthrough. There's no shortcut to this. So our defensive coaches are spending a lot of time with our players pre and post practice to make sure that all that communication is taking place, like you mentioned.
Coach, thank you so much for the time. We'll talk with you again later in the show on Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. But when we return, Nick Chubb, tied for first in the NFL with 4 rushing touchdowns. He joins us in our Player Spotlight.
You know how these things start. You hear the buzz about Wendy's life-changing breakfast. Pan-cracked eggs, oven-baked bacon. So you try the Breakfast Baconator, love it, and have to tell your friend. They try it, can't believe it, and have to tell their friend. And so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. And so on to Wendy's, where you can buy any of these and get another for just $1. We got you.
For as long as I can remember, I've watched the sunrise and I've watched the sunset, fueling my drive, feeding the fire within. Embrace it, harness it.
It's time to let the sun fuel your life. It's time to own your power.
New this year, Browns fans all across Ohio will have a special opportunity to purchase 50-50 raffle tickets. Each ticket will provide a chance to win half of the raffle's net proceeds, the other half benefiting the Stay in the Game Network and Shoes and Clothes for Kids, a Cleveland-based nonprofit organization. Some exclusions apply. For more information and to purchase a raffle ticket, visit Browns5050.com. That's Browns5050.com or the Browns mobile app.
Calls, signals, turns, gives, Chubb, runs, he's to the 15, he's to the 10, he's to the 5, Chubb dive! Touchdown, Nick Chubb!
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura alongside Browns legend Joe Thomas. And Joe, Nick Chubb on his way to legendary status as well. Back-to-back games with over 100 yards rushing and multiple rushing scores. If he does it 3 in a row, he'd be the first Browns back to do that since Jim Brown in 1958. What makes Nick Chubb so darn good?
Absolutely. Nick Chubb is off to an incredible start to the season after his amazing season last year. But what makes Nick Chubb incredible is his vision. The way he's able to see those holes and explode through them and then make guys miss at the second level is what makes him one of the best running backs in the NFL.
I can't wait to take a look at one of Nick Chubb's touchdown runs in our film breakdown. But now it's time for him to sit down with our Andrew Gribble in the Player Spotlight, brought to you by Electronic Merchant Systems.
All right, we're joined now by Browns running back Nick Chubb. And Nick, have the last 2 weeks gone as well as you could have hoped, both from a running game standpoint and then the end result that you guys have gotten?
Yeah, it has. I think we did a great job running the ball, which includes, the O-line, tight ends, the receivers all blocking, the tails off. And we got the win at the end of the day, so that definitely means a lot. That's what we want to do.
How much more rewarding is it for you when you have a good game and the team is also having team success because of that performance?
Yeah, it's great. It shows how hard we work, and it shows who we want to be, our identity, and running the ball. And we're doing that. It's working for us. We're getting wins, and this is who we are.
And when you guys are going through a game like last week's against Washington and the yards aren't coming as easily early, do you kind of know that if you guys stick with it, that it's going to eventually lead to bigger gains later in the game?
That's what we hope for. We know that if we keep running the ball, keep pounding, those 1-yard runs, those 0-yard runs will turn into, maybe a 5-yard 10 run, or eventually a touchdown. And that's what we did. We believe in ourselves. We trusted the run. We kept going with it.
And what's the What's the tandem been like with you and Kareem this year, and how would you say it's different than maybe it was last year when he came in for those final 8 games?
It's been great. Kareem's a great teammate, a great player. I love going on the field playing with him. He brings so much energy and intensity to the game. It gets me hyped up, and I think we did a great job this year of just kind of getting us in there, getting us going, and both making plays, both getting the ball, both throwing the ball to us. So I think they're doing a great job of getting us the ball and getting us on the field.
Well, Nick, this show is kind of all about the fans, and we have a fan question here from Hello Maximo on Twitter, and he asks, how has the new blocking scheme impacted your success, and is there still more to get used to as a running back in this blocking scheme?
Yeah, well, I'll say blocking scheme is pretty much the same outside zone as it has been for me for a couple of years, but I think the players we have now and the coaching scheme is pretty much what's different. I mean, Coach Callahan has those guys going fast, 100 miles an hour every day in practice, and that leads to the game. And he's doing a great job of keeping them going, keeping them working hard. And those guys up front have all done, kind of realize that they want to work hard and they want to, get the running game going. So I think all it came to is just our mindset and being able to go out there and actually do it on the field.
All right, Nick. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck this Sunday against the Cowboys. All right.
All right. Thank you.
While Nick Chubb may be subdued when talking, we know what he does on the field brings a ton of energy into FirstEnergy Stadium, and I know you want to be there. So show us your best fan energy. FirstEnergy wants to see that best fan energy this season. All you have to do is submit a picture or video displaying your Browns fandom using the hashtag BestFanEnergy on social media for a chance to win 2 tickets to a Browns game this season. And I know you want to be in the house to see more Myles Garrett sacks. He has been phenomenal the last 2 weeks, and he is up next, mic'd up, when Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy, returns.
Our students don't just read books or write papers. They forge new paths and new ideas. At LECOM, we build medical professionals who excel. We create the foundation of a better world. We seek new ways to aid others. We lead the next generation. We guide the future of medicine. At LECOM, we make doctors.
Because of this, we built the most powerful Ford Explorer ever, with 400 horsepower. Because of this, we built Ford Expedition with best-in-class towing and plenty of room for crew and cargo. Because of this, we built Escape with Ford Copilot 360. And because Ford SUVs are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand.
It takes my wife, Tina, noticing the bruises, encouraging me to go get screened.
It takes a loving mother who never missed a cancer treatment.
It takes support. It's not something a family can do on their own.
It takes my dad sleeping beside me in the hospital every night.
It takes losing my dad and grandfather to open my eyes to go get screened.
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura and one of the best to ever play left tackle in the history of the NFL, Joe Thomas, with you. And Joe, when you're a left tackle, a guy like Myles Garrett, he can give you nightmares. Through 3 weeks, according to Next Gen Stats, leads the NFL with 19 pressures, leads the NFL with 4 turnovers as a direct result of his pressure. Boy, he has been good.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the stats that I look for in my defensive linemen, because that means how much you're affecting the game, how much you're affecting the opponent's quarterback. And that's everything about being a defensive lineman. Affect where the quarterback wants to throw the football from, make him feel you on every play, make him think about you. That's how you have that impact on the game. And that's even more important than maybe the sack stats, which is what everyone usually looks at. It's turnover-worthy plays from your pressure, quarterback hits, quarterback hurries.
And Miles has been spectacular in all of those categories, and it's easy to see his dominance. But let's take a listen to that dominance in action in Myles Garrett being mic'd up, presented by Ruoff Mortgage.
Let's go. Let's hunt. Let's hunt. Let's go, Mom. Always put your helmet on. Go ahead.
You know it. You know it. You know it.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, Larry.
Come on. Come on. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I ain't got no sacks, bro.
You got any touchdowns?
I can't hear you. It's loud.
Hey,
hold on. Good job, bro.
I got half of that. Oh, I got half of that. No, sir. Oh, I got half of that. I swear I got half of that. No, sir. No, we're not.
You saying that?
No, we're not.
Come on, man.
No, we're not.
Come on, man.
After stay, huh?
We married, big time.
No, sir.
No, NFL office, I need half.
Haskins out of a shotgun, takes the snap, pulls it down. He's got to get out of there again. He's going to get brought down. Sheldon Richardson sacked him.
Go get Joe! Go get Joe! Like I said, get your own.
Hey, what? You got a two-way
Don't worry, I'm gonna get some more.
I ain't done.
You think I am?
Yeah. You ain't the same.
All right.
You ain't the greatest.
All right. All right.
I got some more mentality, huh?
We gonna see. I want one more, but hell, I'll take the W over anything.
On first down from the blind side, they hit him and knock him down. And they wrestle the ball away. Myles Garrett did it all.
That's mine, baby.
Hey! Hey! You let me put my helmet on? Do you know how hard this shit is? What? He said you done.
You did?
You are done.
Yo.
You are done.
Kim.
Just stay
That's my own. You right here by me. Good to see you, big dog. How you feeling? Appreciate
good out there.
You too.
I'm gonna beat you out there. You out there already, but I'm gonna beat you out there.
We gonna see. I see you, boy.
Love hearing Myles Garrett say, "Gimme that" on that pivotal sack strip fumble recovery. Joe, that was a ton of fun, and I know you like what you've seen from Myles' development, but your relationship, boy, it goes way back, and people who love the written word, they got to see that in this week's Cup of Joe at clevelandbrowns.com and on the Browns mobile app.
Before the draft, Nathan, before the Browns drafted Myles Garrett, #1 overall, he actually reached out to me on Twitter and just asked, what are the things that I think he can do to make himself a better player? And that's a big surprise for me, because most guys that are getting ready for the draft, they're thinking about what suit they're going to wear. They're thinking about how much money they're going to make with their new contract. No, Myles, he's only focused on being a better player. He's focused on what I can do to make myself a better player, even before the Browns drafted him. And that was my first impression, and I was really, really impressed.
Impressive as a person, impressive in the film room as well. And that's where we go right now in this week's Play Breakdown, presented by Microsoft Surface. And we start with one of the defense's 5 turnovers. And you certainly could say Myles Garrett had a hand in this. Look at them overload the right side and say, "We're coming for you, Mr. Haskins."
Yeah, absolutely. Myles really starts this by making Dwayne Haskins feel him from behind. But really, this play is all about IDing and recognizing the formation by Malcolm Smith. He sees the 3 receiver set. He understands they're playing zone coverage. He knows that they formation and the motion moved to a 3 receiver set, which said that they were in zone coverage. And he knows Dwayne Haskins knows they're in zone coverage. So he knows there's going to be an intermediate route, and it's all about reading the quarterback's eyes. Watch Malcolm Smith. He's watching Dwayne Haskins' eyes the whole way, and then he jumps the route, and then it's all about Pee Wee football after that. Catch the ball, run to the end zone. Oh, no!
He almost able to run.
His mind, he was taking it all the way to the end zone, and he almost did it. Maybe this time.
Maybe next time, but a guy who can take it all the way to the end zone with no problem, that is our very own Nick Chubb. So let's take a look at Nick Chubb. 1st and 10, the ball's on the 20. That may as well be the ball on the 1 when it comes to Nick Chubb as we see a beautiful run here, Joe.
Yeah, this is a beautiful run. You see the backside guard pulling, getting outside, threatening the defensive back like they're going to run around him, which opens that big hole. Nick Chubb does a great job of running to the sideline, making that defense feel like he's going to run around him. That stretches the defense, that allows those holes to be widened and allows those offensive line blockers to get their heads to the outside to set up those blocks, and then it's just a matter of putting his outside foot in the ground and running the daylight.
And how about Wyatt Teller here? Gets the kick out block and then the little karate roll, the arms up in the air, touchdown. That's offensive lineman extraordinaire type performance there, something that Joe Thomas is quite familiar with. Now, when we come back here on Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy, head coach Kevin Stefanski, he's back and he's talking about a big Week 4 showdown down in Big D against the Dallas Cowboys.
Bring color to life with the very best paint, only at your Sherwin-Williams store.
Get your ice cold Bud Light Seltzer here. Even though you may not be able to come to the game this season, wherever you watch the Cleveland Browns, there's an ice cold Bud Light there. Ice cold Bud Light.
I'll take one.
Oh, right here. Bud Light. Ice cold Bud Light.
Just got my new jersey from the Browns.
And it looks like we're going a little bit more traditional this year. Heck yeah.
Well, I like the white one. Back to the good old days.
That's the elegance of having a mustache.
Cleveland Brown fans, can you say go Browns?
Welcome back to Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Nathan Zegura, Joe Thomas, and we welcome back in the head coach of your Cleveland Browns, Kevin Stefanski, for our game preview, Week 4 against the Dallas Cowboys, presented by Ruoff Mortgage. And Coach, when you look at this Cowboys team, it's hard not to see their passing attack right now, nearly 400 yards per game on a historic pace right now. Dak Prescott, all that talent. How do you deal with that passing attack?
It's a challenge, Nathan. You look at it, and the receivers that are making plays, the tight ends, obviously the runner, they have just good players across the board. So it's a challenge. We have a plan. We got to put that plan into place, and sometimes it's coverage, sometimes it's pressure. There's varying types of coverage. There's varying types of pressure. But you're right. I mean, it's a very real challenge when you got Dak Prescott back there and the receivers that they're able to throw at you.
Coach, Dallas's offensive line is banged up. They're missing both tackles probably for this game. Dak Prescott is a quarterback that does not exactly excel when he's under pressure. When you go into a game like this, are you looking to try to heat him up by blitzing him, or are you thinking that your defensive line is going to be able to get home and apply the pressure that they need if you do sit back into coverage?
Yeah, Joe, I think it's never one thing. There's different ways to affect the quarterback, and this quarterback we're playing is pretty darn good, but you got to find ways to affect him, and sometimes that can be pressure. Sometimes it's applying pressure with 4 guys. Sometimes it's playing coverage. There's varying ways of doing that, but if you just let him sit back there and pat the ball, they're just so talented on the outside. So you got to have a plan when you're going in to Dallas to play Dak Prescott.
They're a team that are playing in these shootout games over the season, 61.5 points per game average in a Dallas Cowboys game. In the last 2 weeks, they've given up nearly 800 yards passing and 9 passing touchdowns with no interceptions. And I know our formula thus far has been to be efficient in the pass game and really run the football. Does that change at all when you know, A, we've got to get to 30 plus? By the way, you've done that 2 weeks in a row, but does that change at all when you see a team that's struggling to stop the pass?
I think every game calls for a different game plan. We go into it thinking we need to attack something, whether it's the run or the pass, and a lot of times in both instances. And then you have to evolve as the game gets played and the play calls evolve, the personnel packages evolve. So we have a plan. We think we understand how to attack this defense, knowing it's not going to be easy. But then we got to be ready to pivot based on how the game's going, based on what they're giving us.
Coach, you're talking about how to attack this Dallas Cowboys defense. So far this season, you guys have had a lot of success with a lot of the gap scheme running plays, getting outside, trying to make defenses defend every blade of grass on the field. How has the progress gone for this offense as far as implementing that wide zone scheme versus your traditional sweeps and guard pull concepts?
Yeah, Joe, we want to be multiple. There's certain things that we're definitely going to hang our hat on. And I think every team knows that. But you got to go into a game with a few wrinkles. You got to have some game plan runs. You got to make life hard on the defense, or at least try to make life hard on the defense. And I think what we're doing in the run game so far in these first 3 games is trying to just make sure that we're being multiple in our attack.
Coach, we're going to get you out of here on our best fan question of the show, powered by FirstEnergy, and it comes from Raleigh in the North, and it's more personal. How have you adjusted to life in Cleveland amidst this COVID situation, the fact that you really haven't gotten to go many places, I'd imagine, other than right here in Berea, the team's facility and the stadiums for games?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of the facility. I've seen a lot of FirstEnergy Stadium and the highway so far, but my family, we're situated. Kids are doing great, school, and really embracing this community. So the off season, I'll get around town.
Coach, thank you so much for the time, and good luck on Sunday in Dallas.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was our head coach, Kevin Stefanski, and we want to thank you once again for joining us tonight on Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy. Before we sign off, as always, we want to take a moment to recognize a frontline worker who has made a tremendous impact in their community during the pandemic. Each game during the regular season, the Browns will honor this individual prior to kickoff as parts of our Hats Off to Our Heroes program. This week's hero is Kendallin McKay, a dialysis technician at Fresenius Kidney Care. Kendallin has been working multiple 12-hour shifts every single week to help her patients who are more susceptible to COVID through a weakened immune system. Her work is simply saving lives. Kendallin, from all of us at the Browns, we thank you for all that you're doing in our communities. And we thank all of you for being with us on another victory edition of Browns Live. Don't forget, complete coverage of the Browns all season long at clevelandbrowns.com and the Browns mobile app. And Browns Countdown comes your way live with hits from Dallas, 11 a.m. on News 5. For Joe Thomas, I'm Nathan Zegura saying thank you for watching Browns Live, powered by FirstEnergy, and let's go Browns.